HIPAA Risk Advisor helps covered entities navigate the complexities of the HIPAA security rule with an easy and intuitive 5-step process. But first, what does HIPAA specifically require? The HIPAA security rule requires an annual security risk assessment, an in-depth process to ensure that covered entities are doing everything they can to ensure that EPHI is protected. As a part of this process, covered entities must provide detailed security policies and procedures, as well as employee training in HIPAA security. This is also true for satisfying meaningful use incentives. For many medical practices, it's an extremely onerous process, and yet choosing not to comply can result in annual fines anywhere from $100 all the way up to $1.5 million a year, not to mention jail time. There are some free services available through HHS, like a security risk assessment tool that can help to a certain extent, but these tools aren't without a cost since they're very complicated to use. Plus, without any expert analysis of the answers or guidance on how to interpret the questions, practices are left with a long to-do list, no clear direction, and increased risk. In fact, the lack of an accurate risk analysis is seen as the biggest security issue facing medical practices today. HIPAA Risk Advisor addresses all of these challenges, providing sample security policies and procedures, sample HIPAA training materials for employees, and an intuitive online risk assessment reviewed by one of our HIPAA security consultants. Each HIPAA Risk Advisor subscriber is assigned a dedicated HIPAA security consultant to review their policies and procedures, their assessment results, and interview key staff. All of this detailed risk analysis is delivered within a HIPAA security analysis report. These essentials help satisfy meaningful use in HIPAA security requirements as well as reduce risk. HIPAA Risk Advisor subscribers are walked through a 5-step process, and we'll cover each step in more detail in a few seconds. The important thing to remember is that HIPAA Risk Advisor is more than just a website or an online tool. Our HIPAA security experts navigate practices through the entire process with live interviews and consultations. When you log into your HIPAA Risk Advisor portal, you'll see our dashboard, which provides sample security policies and training documents. And then when you're ready, you can begin the risk analysis survey by clicking over to the Assessment tab. The assessment takes approximately 90 minutes or so, and you can always save your work as you go. Keep in mind that we'll ask you to upload a few documents along the way, and you can take as long as you need to finish this process. All right, step number 2. Along with security policies and procedures, the HIPAA security rule requires a number of documents such as your IT inventory list, your list of users, workforce agreements, and several others. We'll get you started with our sample policies in case you're starting from scratch. We'll also review your policies and procedures to identify any gaps that may impact compliance and expose you to risk. We'll conduct a live interview session with you and staff members on the initial questionnaire responses, clarifying your responses and discussing the documentation you've provided. We can help interpret the requirements for you and what they mean to your practice, as well as address any remaining unanswered questions. This will prepare us for completing the final assessment report. Over the next few days, our HIPAA security experts will review and analyze all of the documentation provided, using industry-accepted standards as the basis for control assessment criteria and recommendations. We'll examine the administrative, physical, and technical safeguards you've implemented and look for ways to improve these to reduce risk, improve security, and accelerate compliance. Our HIPAA security analysis report represents one of the most comprehensive and accurate risk assessment reports available. Our report pinpoints critical deficiencies with pragmatic guidance on fixing them so that you can verify and demonstrate risk assessment progress with auditors and other stakeholders. HIPAA Risk Advisor is like a GPS, navigating you through the maze of HIPAA compliance requirements for reduced risk, improved security, and faster compliance. Come visit our site today to get started.